Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today, Redesigning Communities for Age Society, Kashiwa Model, Japan. My name is Yuko Kaifu, and I'm the president of Japan House Los Angeles, and I wish to welcome you all to today's webinar. Today's session is co-hosted by the Consulate General of Japan in Los Angeles and Japan House Los Angeles. Last month, we hosted another webinar on aging society entitled The New Age of Elder Care. We invited experts in the fields of robotics and artificial intelligence and a psychotherapist who discussed latest technology as well as psychological care in order to physically and mentally empower the older generation. Today, we invited Dr. Hiroko Akiyama, who will be speaking about the Kashiwa Project. The Kashiwa Project is a social experiment conducted in Kashiwa City of Chiba Prefecture in Japan to study how a community can be designed to enhance the lives of people of all ages to stay healthy, active, connected, and live with a sense of security. Before we begin her lecture, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping notes. Everyone except for the speaker will be muted and videos are turned off. The audience chat is disabled. For those of you who submitted questions beforehand, thank you for the questions. You can also submit questions anytime during the program. Please use the Q&A bar at the bottom of the screen. We'll try to cover as many questions as possible, but we may not be able to get to all of them due to time constraints. This webinar is recorded and will be posted on Japan House website in near future. Now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Hiroko Akiyama. Dr. Hiroko Akiyama is a gerontologist and is a professor emeritus at the University of Tokyo and the former vice president of Science Council of Japan. She has conducted a number of cross-national surveys and is widely recognized as an expert on issues of global aging. She is known for the long-running research on the elderly in Japan, tracking the aging patterns of approximately 6,000 Japanese elderly over 30 years. She also initiated social experiment projects that pioneered to redesign communities to meet the needs of the highly aged society. She started the Institute of Gerontology at the University of Tokyo in 2006. Dr. Akiyama received a Ph.D. in psychology from the University of Illinois. So without further ado, Dr. Akiyama, the mic is yours. Please take it away.
Thank you for the kind introduction. I'm Hiroko Akiyama. Today I'm speaking from my home in Kamakura, where cherry blossoms just started bloom. This is a beautiful season. Today I want to talk about aging society. Aging population is a global phenomenon, as you know, and we face various problems at national level, community level, and individual level. It is my great pleasure to have this opportunity to share with you ideas and also social experiment, redesigning communities for aged society. I will start with a brief description of the background. Population aging is a global phenomenon, as I mentioned, and Japan is one of the front runners of rapidly aging societies. Average life expectancy of Japanese women is now 87 years and 81 years for men. The current total fertility rate is 1.43. As a result, 28%, now 28.9, so it's almost 30% of the Japanese population is age 65 and older. The total population started to decline at year 2010. As you see, the working age population has been steadily decreasing, but the population age 65 and older, particularly age 75 and older, increasing. This slide shows the old age dependency ratios. In 1965, 50 years ago, there were 9.1 persons to support one older person. Now the ratio is 1 to 2.4, and we are expecting the ratio will become almost 1 to 1 in 2050. Obviously, we will not be able to sustain the social security system and the national economy as well. Social welfare spending for pension, healthcare, and long-term care has been steadily increasing. Although this is an important issue, I will not focus on macroeconomic issues today. In year 2010, 10 years from now, it is predicted, conservatively, estimate 20% of the population age 65 and older are demented, and 45% will be living alone. This is a new phenomenon in Japan and in Asia in general. We have been conducting a panel survey following about 6,000 Japanese aged 60 and older, basically every 3 years since 1987, so over 30 years, looking at changes in major domains of their lives with increasing age: health, economic status, and social relations. So this is a national probability sample of 5,715 Japanese. And we are doing face-to-face interview and spouted by both the NIA, National Institute on Aging, and the Japanese Ministry of Health, Welfare, and Labor. Okay. And we have conducted 9 waves of the survey. And this year, we are going to collect another 10th wave survey in 2021, this year. Okay. And we have the tons of data, but using ADL and IADL, many of you must be familiar with this. Are the activities of daily living and instrumental activities of daily living. Okay, the questions, you see them in the below on the screen. Using ADL and IADL limitations, we looked at changes in independent living with increasing age. It is functional independence, a key concept of WHO definition of healthy aging. This is a scoring guideline. We gave score 3 to people who have no ADL and IADL limitations. We gave 2 to those with no ADL limitations but need assistance for IADL limitations. And score 1 is for those who need assistance for both ADL and IADL. And the 0 are dead. Using the latent class analysis model, we found 3 typical patterns of health change among men. The point I want to make in this graph is the red line. Okay, as 70% of men stayed functionally independent until mid-70s, and then their health gradually declined and required some assistance. This is the similar graph for women. So 70% of men and almost 90% of women, altogether 80% of Japanese older persons start losing physical independence in mid-70s. The population age 75 and older is rapidly increasing and doubles in the next 10 years. So this trajectory poses a serious problem. In 1990s, computer technology rapidly advanced. It was an exciting time in the field of survey research. The advancement of computer technology made it possible to analyze large and complicated data. I was at the University of Michigan and engaged in a number of cross-national surveys and panel surveys, the survey following the same people for a long time, those on the largest scale. Our purpose was to understand the changes associated with individual aging and population aging and identify issues we need to address. In 1997, I returned to Japan. The Japanese population was still rapidly aging, but at that time, I just was stunned. What I felt was, we already know what issues are. What we need now are solutions and action. So in my view, one viable approach from the academic community was action research. The purpose of action research is to solve a particular problem and to produce guidelines for best practice. It is a participatory research in collaboration with multi-stakeholders, such as government, industry, various organizations such as NPOs, Physicians Association, and certainly citizens. This is very important. It takes a spiral steps. Each step is composed of a PDCA cycle, that is planning, action, and fact-finding about the result with action. University can offer a platform for action research, the collaboration of multi-stakeholders who jointly work solutions to a particular issue. It will turn out to be a platform for open innovations. Action research is a promising research method, but still at the formative stage. We need to work on further developing action research as a rigorous scientific research method. Among various issues in aging society, we identified 3 priority issues we take actions. First, we need to make individual and collective efforts to shift this point, the point the red line started to decline, okay? To shift this point toward this direction. So in other words, we need to increase years of life without disability. I would like to see the line like this, okay, or extreme in this way. Okay. Second, even if we could add several years of life without disability, the majority of people will still become to require some level of assistance. Therefore, we need to create an environment where these people, kind of frail people, stay safe, comfortable, and connected. So I think many people desire to live like this. It's okay, just stay healthy and active, 80s and 90s, and suddenly dead. So in Japanese, we call pimpin korori. But only about 10% of the people can achieve their dream. Okay? And third, we need a comfortable environment for these people who have a level of disabilities. And that's the second goal. The third, we need a strategy for forming and maintaining human bonds. I didn't show the statistics, but this isolation and also loneliness is really the issue in Japan as well. This is an international, it's very serious problem. So this is the third goal, is the strategy for forming and maintaining human bonds. Okay. To address these issues, Institute of Gerontology at the University of Tokyo, where I belong, affiliated, launched a social experiment in the community. The existing infrastructure of communities was built when the population was much younger. We need to redesign both hard and soft infrastructure of communities. We are trying to redesign communities for meeting the needs of the highly aged society. We want to build communities where people could live for 100 years, staying healthy, active, connected, and live with a sense of security. And this is not a retirement community. It is an ordinary community for people of all ages. As this is a social experiment, we evaluate the effects of our interventions at this individual level, community level, and costs. And we make policy recommendations based on the scientific evidence. And this is an overview of our project. It requires considerable scientific and social innovations. So these are major projects we are working on: productive aging, lifelong learning, human bonds, frailty prevention, healthcare and long-term care, housing, transportation, and effective utilization of ICT. We have 2 experimental sites, one in the metropolitan area, 30 kilometers away from Tokyo, and the other in rural area. We chose 2 quite ordinary communities so that they can be helpful for other communities in redesigning their communities. The following slides illustrate major projects we are now working on in Kashiwa, the urban community. I don't have time to talk about all projects, so I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 projects. The first project is a workplaces for the second life. We live longer and we work longer. As some of you might remember, this is the title of OECD report published in 2005. We are not only live longer, but also live healthier. This slide compares the usual walking speed of people in the same age groups from 1992 to 2017. As probably you know, just usual walking speed is very simple but effective, indicator of aging process. And as you see, men and women in all age groups significantly improved in walking speed. The changes are amazing. 4 years ago, Japanese Association of Geriatric and Gerontology made official pronouncement to raise the definition of old age from 65 to 75 years old. Actually, I think now people in 60s, they don't consider themselves old or seniors. 3 years ago, we conducted a survey asking 5,000 people aged 50 to 64, so it's kind of pre-senior, what they want to do after age 65. Number one, over half of the respondents mentioned they want to work full-time or part-time. So they want to be geneki, kind of engaged to the society. And number two was learning. Japanese seniors are willing to work. According to the national survey by the Cabinet Office, 70% of people aged 60 and older wish to work until 70 years old. And almost 40% said they wish to work as long as they are capable to work. This is a graph in the report published by Ministry of Health and Welfare. It shows the labor participation rate of seniors and their medical care cost expenditure per person by prefecture, like state, okay, have my moderate correlation. So the prefecture where older people, high proportion of older people working, it means that the medical care expenditure person is lower. Expansion of the job opportunities for seniors is essential to ensure sustainability with the society to maintain and enhance the labor force, social security finance, and economic development. And the prediction of labor demands and supply in 2030 looks bleak. We lose 8.45 million workers in the next 10 years. And seniors needs to be the producers and workers. And the social security benefits exceed 100 trillion Japanese yen. Seniors needs to be taxpayers and promote health and contain medical care costs by working. And the expansion of senior market is also important. Seniors will be active consumers. So this is important issue at the societal level. There are obviously a number of macro policy issues to address. This is now, workplaces for the second life, and people wish to work, and even after age 65, and when work is good for health, as you saw. So we started this program called Workplaces for the Second Life. And Kashiwa is typical bed town of Tokyo, 30 kilometers away from Tokyo. And a huge number of baby boomers who are commuted to work in Tokyo retired and came back to this community. We are creating age-friendly workplaces and flexible scheme of employment suitable for the second life. So far, we created 9 workplaces. 3 were in agriculture, 2 workplaces for food related, and the others are in the field of education and personal care. All workplaces are operated by business owners in the private sectors. The wage varies depending on the nature of work, but the minimum wage is guaranteed for all jobs. All the persons are diverse in terms of physical abilities, free time, and economic situation and lifestyle. Using work sharing, we develop flexible employment scheme for both the employers and senior workers. All the persons decide when and how long they work. These are senior workers at work. It is essential for senior workers to learn the basic ICT skill for participating in the job sharing group. We evaluate the effects of working after retirement age at individual level and community level. These are some of the indicators. I want to increase the smile at the individual level. Using these devices, we assess physical abilities, cognitive abilities, and social interactions before they start working 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months later. We are still collecting data, but preliminary analysis results showed positive effects of working after retirement. Based on the scientific evidence from community experiment, we made policy recommendations to the national government, Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare. Based on our policy recommendations, in year 2018, legislation passed at the national diet to institutionalize this program. Now it is spreading throughout the country. Seniors' labor force participation is essential for sustainability of social security system and economy as well. We need to reform the pension system, reduce various barriers at workplaces, and enhance seniors' employability. And also combat against ageism is also a serious issue. We also test various products which provide older workers with safe and productive work environment. This is a simple power assist device for reducing the stress on the lower back in farming and nursing care, and developed by Hokkaido University and Mitsubishi Electric Company. We are now working on the platform for job matching assisted by AI with a major employment agency, Recruit, and IBM. For a long time, we made individual and collective efforts to extend life expectancy. When the average life expectancy approached 80 years, the focus shifted to extension of healthy life expectancy. Now we are about to seek the extension of years being engaged in the society, the extension of engaged life expectancy. 2 years ago, we set up October 1st as a day of a lifelong active. We have September 15 as a day of respecting senior citizens. Probably we need a day for a lifelong active society. The next project is Frailty Prevention. In the highly aged society, frailty is a dominant cause of disability. We promote frailty prevention in the community. We try to raise awareness of physical frailty, cognitive frailty, and social frailty. I'm going to go quickly. Okay. And this is a longitudinal cohort study on a large scale. And trained active seniors in green shirt participate as staff members in annual frailty checkup in the community. Preliminary analysis of the data indicates social frailty often precedes physical frailty and cognitive frailty. So therefore, social engagement is an important factor to prevent frailty. Next project, the primary concern of older persons is health and long-term care. The national government is promoting the integrated home-based care system, which is called Chiki Hokatsu Care System, which provides home-based health and social care services for 24 hours. This flower pot picture illustrates the concept of the system. 6 components conceived to make up the system. First, medical care, nursing care, and rehab and prevention. These professional services made up green part. The social care services supporting daily life, such as shopping, cleaning, and transportation, is the soil. And the housing constitutes the flower pot part. The last but not the least important, the patient's choice and preparation, the tray. This slide illustrates more concretely the concept of the integrated community care system. So they mean seniors, persons in the center, and professional and social care services make a team and to support a couple in the center. Okay. When we built the system, the first hurdle was we had to clear was the doctors in private practice were reluctant to be on call for 24 hours. Most of the doctors in private practice run an office with one doctor, a couple of nurses, and staff members. So on call for 24 hours means he or she cannot go to a professional meeting, take a vacation, not even enjoy a glass of wine with dinner. So we proposed the doctors form a pair of primary doctor and sub-doctor in the area, but they did not like it. They are concerned that patients might switch to the sub-doctor. So the current system is one doctor station at the local health hub in the bottom, and this particular doctor in the health hub serve as a sub-doctor to all clinics in the area. Then they collaborate with other service providers such as care managers, visiting nurses, dentists, PTs, and home helpers. When we started, we formed 5 working groups. The first one was the physician working group, which set up workable relations among primary doctors, a sub-doctor, and doctors in hospitals. And the second, coordination working group coordinated healthcare and long-term care services. Third, trial practice working group tested and verified system by trial runs. And we make a lot of test improvement. And the fourth, hospital working group defined discharge protocol and backup system for home-based care. And finally, face-to-face working group where all service providers get together and enhance the partnership. This is a training workshop for health and long-term care professionals on home-based care. We mix lectures, workshops, and practicum at home visiting situation. 4 years ago, a combination of independent and assisted living facility was built in the central part of the community. Various service stations for home-based healthcare are located on the first floor of this building. They are the offices of doctors and dentists who make home visit, and the visiting nurse, visiting PTs, and home helper stations. And the pharmacy delivers medicine to patients' home. And all of them deliver their services not only to the residents of this facility, but also to the residents of surrounding community. This is a picture of a doctor and nurse visiting a patient's home. My mother passed away 2 years ago at age 98. And the last 2 years, she had this visiting physician and nurse services, and also used the day services. And she was quite happy and passed away in peace. This small-scale multifunctional service center, it's called Shokibo Takino in Japanese. This small-scale multifunctional service center provides daycare service, short stay for respite care mainly for caregivers, and home visit by nurse and home helper responding to the patients and their families' needs. This type of service center is very user-friendly and in great demand. The integrated community care system is a patient-centered care system, cooperating with hospitals and social care services such as mobile meals and transportation services in the area. It provides total care in the place the patient resides. The information network system is quite important in patient-centered home-based healthcare, and which requires coordinated effects of various healthcare professionals and social care providers. And this system provides a common infrastructure for information sharing among existing data systems. In Kashiwa, like in most cities in Japan, hospitals, clinics, visiting nurse stations, and nursing homes use the data system made by different vendors. They could not share the data because the data were not compatible among the different systems. This system allows data sharing among different data systems being used by healthcare and long-term care service providers in Kashiwa. And we published a guidebook for promoting the Kashiwa model of the integrated community care system. Actually, this is the first book, and the last month we published the second book. The first book covers kind of professional care services mainly, but the second book, which includes more, social care services as well. Transportation is a big issue for older persons to stay safe and active. And particularly now the population age 75 and older will rapidly increase. Many of them, start feeling difficulty driving their cars. So, this is transportation is a big issue. And in collaboration with several companies such as Toyota and Honda, we are working on alternative means of transportation in the community. We maximally, utilize existing ICT to reach out for people to stay healthy, safe, and connected. We also pursue technological innovations and test new technology in the community. This kind of social experiment requires not only the collaboration of researchers in different disciplines, but also full collaboration with local government, or healthcare institutions, NPOs, business community, and residents. The action research is a promising research method in the gerontology, but as I mentioned, still in the formative stage. We need to work on further developing action research as a scientific research method. 2 years ago, we published an introductory book of action research in aging society in Japanese. I hope action research gets citizenship in gerontological research and contributes to solutions for formidable challenges in the rapidly aging society. The population aging is a global phenomenon. By taking up enormous challenges and exploring new opportunities in the aging society and building sustainable society together is our global goal. Thank you for your attention. I'd like to take any questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Akiyama. It's so fascinating. My first question, so you are the pioneer. You're the person who came up with all these ideas, but your first area of expertise was in psychology. So you graduated from Tokyo University and went on to study further psychology at the University of Illinois, where you got a Ph.D. and you returned to Japan. What prompted you to engage yourself in this area of gerontology?
Personally, I grew up in a three-generation family, and I was the first grandchild for my grandparents. And actually, my mother said I was stolen by my grandparents. I slept with them and I ate with my grandparents. So I grew up very close with my grandparents, and all the persons in the community visited my grandparents quite often. So from the childhood, I felt very close, and the older person. That is probably the personal background. But when I was an undergraduate student, well, the Japanese population was really rapidly, and that time I read one novel, The Kokotsu no Hito by Sawako Ariyoshi. This is a novel about woman who quit the job and took care of demented father-in-law. And this was really quite shocking, the experience. And I started really interested in issues in aging society.
Well, thank you. Wow. So that's your background as becoming the trailblazer in the area of gerontology, but it's amazing what you developed. We do have quite a few questions pre-submitted and during the program. So But I guess that the area of gerontology includes so many aspects of issues. And I would rather like to, because we do have limited time for Q&A, would rather like to focus on the community building and the Kashiwa model and things that you have been particularly focusing on. So a few people asked about aging in place. For those of you who are not familiar with the term, it's the concept about remaining in your own home for later years of your life instead of going into assisted care or residential homes. So one person is asking, how do you feel Japan is different from other countries in promoting aging in place in terms of access to the home? The other person is asking in Japanese, so I just quickly translated it. It seems that the Japanese government provides financial support and other allowances in order to encourage to stay at home. And more Japanese are getting older, and it's getting more difficult to get admitted into the senior care facilities. Will it not be better to figure out how people can live in their home environment without causing burdens on the family members? So can you talk a little bit about this concept of aging in place?
Yes, well, I mean, I think aging in place is the main policy of the national government. But before that, I mean, older people wish to stay home, okay? They want to age in place, okay? So that is really, I mean, the wish of, I mean, the citizens. And, but this, I think universal. I think the people in the United States and also other countries, many people, I think, wish to stay home. And in Japan, I think the national government really pushing this aging in place. Okay, and year 2000, Japan started long-term care insurance. This is a national level. Everyone contributes and also get benefit. So the long-term care insurance, it's really changed the way older people live and also the way the people who take care of older persons. And for a long time, I mean, as many of you know, 3 or 4 generation, multi-generation families are very common. I mean, I think when I was a child, I think 80% older people are living with their children, family. But now they are living more independently of the children. And I think probably the long-term care insurance just kind of push that trend further away, because with the long-term care insurance or services, they are capable to live by themselves independently. So, and that there are still only several nations they have long-term care insurance. So that's really made a change. I mean, the big difference. Yeah.
Thank you. A few people are asking about activities for the seniors. As you said that many people want to continue working or going beyond 65. So one person is asking, have you observed that when retired people work in a second career, do they prefer to continue in a similar line of work as their first career or something completely different?
In Japan, still, I mean, there are mandatory retirement age. Now it's shifting age 60 to 65, and now we are talking about 70. Okay, so I mean, in a sense, they have to change the job. And in Kashiwa, just as an example, most people they left home early in the morning, commuted to Tokyo and work for long hours, and then came back at night. And when they retired, they did not want to continue the same kind of the lifestyle. So I mean, they want to work. I mean, more in the community. If possible, it's kind of walking distance or somewhere they can take bike. So that's the reason we created many working places in the community, and they can choose. And actually, I think most of the people are working at office in the Tokyo, but I was surprised. Most popular job was farming, and also education, teaching at after school program or something like that. Working with children, so it's quite popular. So many people choose totally different job from the first one. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Come to think of it, if you are like director's level or president level of something, a company in your first career, and then suddenly change your job in the same area to become a rank and file, might be a little bit difficult to accept. But then if the job is completely in a different area, it's probably easier to accept and enjoy for
Right.
your
Yes.
I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So what you commented just answers some of the questions about the questions. This person is asking if you consider having seniors teach younger people.
Yeah.
Older people have life experience as mentors. So I guess that's what you are trying to promote as well.
Yeah, and for example, I mean, I think it's why people want to work after retirement. I think the one of the reasons they want to contribute to the society or community. Okay, for this after-school program, it's very, very popular. And for example, I mean, the person who worked at trading company, so this station in New York or London for 10 years or something, he's teaching English, but not, I mean, really for entrance exam in English, for exam. I think how to live in English, or how to do a business in English type of things. And also another person who worked in the computer company, it's created the robot club. Okay, and he teach how to make, I mean, the robots by Legos, and programming as well. So they use their experience skills and to teach, to share that experience skills with children. And I mean, those skills are quite popular. Yeah.
Sounds really good. In terms of social activities, a couple of people are asking about art classes. Have you looked at the role of the arts in senior well-being? I ask because your results showed the high value given to learning. Quality art experiences do create learning, rethinking, and discovery experiences.
Yes. People wants to work after retirement, but also they want to do other things as well. Okay. I interviewed with many seniors, particularly men. When they retired, they didn't know almost no one. They knew almost no one in the community, only family members, because they left early in the morning and came back late at night. Okay, so they want to do something, but they don't know where and how to. Okay, and so when, for example, I mean, the one man said they met persons at farm or some school, start get acquainted with, find they share the same hobby or art or sports or something, and they get more involved in the other activities like sports and arts and cooking or something, the chorus, music.
Right, that's amazing. So it's a similar question. This person is says that he's a judo practitioner and continued to study the more gentle art of Aikido.
Yes.
In my 70s, he's in the 70s. How does the Kashiwa model include group exercises in Aikido or other gentle arts, which are also means of self-defense for the elderly?
Yeah, yes, Aikido is very popular, actually. Okay.
Right.
Yes, and we have a Frailty Prevention program. Annually, I don't know, I mean, twice a year probably, they assess the frailty level, okay? And so they're very conscious about the health. Okay? And so there are several sports groups popped up among those people, and Aikido is one of them.
That's great. Any other gentle martial art other than Aikido?
It used to be, I think it's called, gate ball, but now they have some kind of golf, but it's not really hard golf. It's more it's gentle golf, something like that. Yes, there are
gate
several.
ball is quite popular among Japanese American people, so it's the same.
That's right.
Now, Kashiwa, as you know, is the sister city of Torrance, which is located in the western southern part of Los Angeles County. I'm sure that many viewers for this webinar are watching from the city of Torrance. So one person is asking, I live in Torrance. I believe Torrance and Kashiwa are sister cities. It might be interesting to have senior exchange in addition to the student exchange. So they are very active in promoting students exchange. But do you think that is a potential?
Yeah, I think so. Several years ago, I think for the project is called After Retirement, and we give job seminar, okay, a 2-day workshop, okay, and about 800 people graduated, finished the seminar or workshops, and they formed, NPO. It's called Second Life Factory. That's very interesting name, and they're quite active. And actually now they are creating many jobs Also, they are creating many those sports or art groups, and also they are started business as well. So I can connect the people that NPO and the people in Torrance. I think it's very exciting. Yes.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we only have a few more minutes. The last question is going to be similar to what the other viewers asked. Thank you for this wonderful work and your presentation. Can you please comment on whether there may be corporate opportunities to collaborate on similar projects in urban areas of Los Angeles?
Sure, certainly.
So you can see that the Kashiwa model can be imported perhaps to this part of the US, and there be some collaboration in terms of information exchanges and
yeah. I think we are going to learn a lot from the US too. So yes, I think it's an excellent idea.
Well, that's great. I mean, we could go on for another hour, but unfortunately we have to wrap up now. But thank you so much for sharing your philosophy, thought, and you're, more than anything else, you're the doer. So I appreciate your efforts and continued guidance. And I'd like to thank the viewers for joining us today. As I said at the beginning, this webinar has been recorded and will be posted on our website at a future date. When you exit the program, will be redirected to our survey page at the end of the webinar. Please take a moment to fill it out so that we can continue providing you with high quality programs in the areas of your interest. Please also follow us on social media platforms at Japan House LA and Japan Consulate LA to stay up to date on our events. So thank you, Dr. Akiyama, so much. I hope that you can come visit us in person. Yes. To have another round of your session. And thank you, viewers, again for joining us. And I hope to get to see you again soon. Thank you. Have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you. See you in person next time. Yes.